Hey guys, what do you call it when there are too many aliens in a cantina?
I don't know.
Extraterrestrials.
Doesn't even make sense.
It does in a dad joke vibe. All right.
One of us.
Hello.
Jedi.
That's not a moon. It's a space station.
Always a pleasure to meet you.
And my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
You failed your Highness. I'm a Jedi.
Hello, explorers, and welcome to the only international Star Wars podcast covering almost half the world, but only 0.5% of the galaxy. I'm Jack, and as always, thank you for joining us wherever you are in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, and welcome to Explore the Force, where we cover all things Star Wars. All things Star Wars. I'm Jimmy, and as always, welcome back or welcome along if you're new.
And last but by no means least, I'm Charlie. And if you're joining us today for episode 128 and you get a chance, don't forget to give us a cheeky rating, like, share, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Jack, how are you doing, my buddy?
Tired, very tired. It's been a long week. I'm just happy that I'm back here talking some Star Wars. How about you, Jimmy?
I'm cold. I'm thawing out still. Yesterday was the worst day of cross country, not performance wise, but weather wise, I've ever been a part of in my entire life. And it just rained for hours. It was not even in the 50s, so it was like I'm trying to think of what that would be for you guys, because like 40 degrees is like 100 degrees, right? Like it's way high up in the 90s, so it's probably like in the 20s or something. I mean, it was cold.
Yeah.
We had wind, we had rain constant. I mean, the kids were running through rivers on the course. I mean, it was real cross country. It just didn't.
Nice.
But being out in it was miserable. But yeah, thawing out, and I had my first real week of work. I'm not sure why people do it. Work, I mean, it's overrated. So, but yeah, I'm good. Glad to be back at it. Charlie, what about you?
I'm doing super well. I just celebrated my 8-year anniversary with Nick, and our anniversary present was going to be my Force encounters for this week, which I'm super excited to get to. So sweet, so lovely. However, I am packed full of cold right now, so if you hear me like coughing or spluttering or just generally sort of wheezing in the background, it's not Darth Vader or General Grievous, it's me. So sorry, everyone. But before we get into Force encounters, I have a good fact for you guys this week. You know that I love a fact linked to my Force encounter. We all remember seeing A New Hope for the first time and how much of an impact Darth Vader had on children and adults for decades to come. Did you know that in A New Hope, Darth Vader appears on screen for a total of only 8 minutes and 6 seconds? Such a short time, and yet a lasting legacy was built. That is the power of Star Wars. That is crazy to me. 8 minutes and 6 seconds of screen time to become like one of the most iconic visual aspects of Star Wars. Like, we've all put a bin bag around our shoulders and a plastic bin on our head and walked around and been Darth Vader, you know? Like, it's
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
most.
the opening scene, choking out
Mhm.
the guy, tormenting his daughter, killing Kenobi,
Speed run in your head.
and then the trench run. Yeah, that's crazy. 8 minutes and the impact that he had. I mean, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Funny, man. Right, let's head into this week's Force encounters.
For my ally is the Force.
Boy.
Okay, so this week's Force encounters for me was pure disappointment. I headed into Spirit Halloween. I was going to go pick up one of those Star Wars masks, but literally the whole shop was bare. Like, there's nothing left in the shop.
Rookie.
Yeah.
You
I
got to get
cannot
in there.
believe it.
Rookie
Hey,
mistake.
Yeah, I was absolutely gutted. I was going to pick up the Bossk one as well.
Yeah, if
You've got to
you
get
jump,
in there the last week of September as it opens. Don't even try for Spirit Halloween in October. You rookie mistake.
Unreal. I
Yeah.
had no idea. Like literally, I went there. Obviously, we go pick up some more decorations as well. I got in there and I was like, "Where's the shop?"
It gets picked out, I mean, quick.
Yeah.
You know, people who don't live in the States may not know this. They only open up for like a month and they make a
Mhm.
killing. I'm sure there's places in the country that have them permanently, but every mall, abandoned, like, and they'll just find like abandoned places as
Yeah.
far as like not abandoned, but you know, like empty storefronts and things like that. And they'll just move in for a month and then they move out and they make an absolute killing because you know the rent for stuff like that's got to be exorbitant. But yeah, Jack, you gotta get in there.
Yeah.
There's
Missed
no
the train
time
on
for
that one.
decisions. You just buy and then you can take back.
Yeah. How about you, Charlie? How's your force encounter been this week?
My Force encounter this week was super fun, super exciting. As I said earlier, a lovely anniversary present from my wonderful Nick. We went to Birmingham Symphony Hall and listened to the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra perform the score for A New Hope. Whilst A New Hope was playing in the background, I'm sure you guys have had this where you are. It's a bit of a thing. Like people go and watch the film and listen to the live orchestra. I got all dressed up. I put like my fancy Ray dress on and I did my hair and I had my Ray boots on. I just want to say I posted a video of that on my Instagram stories, and I'm not trying to brag here, but nearly 500 people viewed that, and I've never had a story have so many likes or so much attention. You guys loved the outfit. Anyway, the actual show was incredible. The orchestra were guest conducted by Anthony Gabriel, who's like a West End conducting legend. I've definitely seen him do stuff at the BBC Proms before, so that was really cool. Because of the way they sound mix it, you do often lose kind of bits of dialogue, especially when there's kind of swells and crescendos and everything. It was so nice to be able to sit back and just indulge in the score. Like I don't obviously we all love the Star Wars music. You guys have done episodes about it. We've talked for hours with Mark Rolfe about it. Like it's important, but to sit and experience it in this way was so kind of unique and interesting. And now I have to tick off Empire off of my list. And if they ever do the prequels, I have to go and see those as well. Only sad thing is they didn't play the Cantina music. I was expecting the Cantina music to be played live, but it was not, which was a
Iconic.
shame.
What the heck? Missed
The
opportunity.
Cantina appeared. I know, I got so excited. And then everyone put their instruments down and went,
Maybe they were showing their respect to the nodal tone.
maybe. The modal nodes, thank you very
Modal
much.
nodes,
Figuring
that's it.
down and the modal nodes.
Something. I knew it was figuring Dan, but
Everyone's favorite
it
genre of
makes
jazz.
we went this a year ago or so because we had Brad on the show when I went down to Oklahoma City. Makes you realize how much music is in those 2.5 hours or 2 hours. Like, you know the big themes and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
think you realize until you're out there and you're watching it like that, and you're watching the band, the orchestra, like they're playing almost constantly. There's very little bit of time. There's
Yeah.
very few times where they're not busy. So I think that's
There
really
was a full standing ovation that went on. I think I was clapping for about 10 minutes because it was just they deserved every single little bit of it. Every section we clapped, all of it was beautiful. They were absolutely flawless from start to finish. There was not a note put wrong.
Yeah. So,
Spectacular.
all right. Well, it's awesome. If you haven't done it before, go do it. It
Mhm.
is even if you're not like into orchestral music, like that's not your jam, seeing Star Wars of any version with that music live I was almost moved to tears when I saw Return of the Jedi. So yeah, so I have a couple. Most of mine are literature based. New Star Wars Insider came out, so I'm reading some stuff in there. I don't know if you guys get this magazine or not, but was it like every month and a half, 2 months it comes out, I think. I'm not even sure. Diving into some things in there. Got some Neil Nation. We got some more like stuff with the High Republic and different things. And then, of course, once I have a few minutes to myself, I'll do my review for this. I will tell you that it's a little bit misleading. It's a little bit weird. And it seems, I don't know. I really like this. This is the only comic I read when it comes out. I usually wait till a series is done and I go through them. But I look forward to this one. Marvel's Jedi Knights, and they kind of like roller coaster your emotions because like they start leading up to something and they drop it, and then this episode is kind of like I don't even understand why this is an episode in here or an issue in this series, but it did give me an idea and talking points. I sent you guys some of that. And then I'm finally listening to Phasma by Delilah Dawson. I'm not sure exactly what the full title. Holy rip. Like, first off, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Do I have my phone? The person who narrates it is doing a terrific job, and that's saying something because I'm usually pretty stingy about my compliments when it comes to Audible. The narration on these things. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But that book makes Phasma makes me even madder about the misuse of Phasma.
Mhm.
It doesn't paint her in a good light. It just paints her as this insane warrior in the planet she's from. Like, if you have not read or listened to the Phasma stuff, I'm almost done with it. I usually like Delilah Dawson's stuff. This might be one of her best. It just paints this outrageous story and lifestyle, and I mean, I feel like they really missed the ball using her in the movies with this kind of background. Just outstanding. So that's kind of my Force Encounters, all the books and stuff like that. And of course, we're getting closer and closer to Mask of Fear, which we're super excited about. So that'll be out in November.
Nice. You're giving me a sweet idea there. Right, let's head over to back to then and see what news is coming out of there.
The people in this crowd will soon be among almost 40,000.
For those who are among the 900 with news media or promotional tickets, the sneak preview probably will be the only chance to see the Empire Strikes Back.
Guys, can you hear that? That rumbling. It's getting closer. Oh God, save yourselves. Save yourself. It's the Reylo fans. It's the Ben Solo girlies. They're coming. Now, everyone calm, everyone calm. I promise we will try and dedicate a whole episode to this next week, because even as I am talking to you, there is more news coming out. But for now, this is what we know. A few days ago, the internet absolutely exploded because Adam Driver talked about the hunt for Ben Solo. A unreleased, ungreenlit, fully written script for a Ben Solo movie that followed on from The Rise of Skywalker. The project was going to be following Ben Solo after the events of ROS. It was developed by Adam Driver in collaboration with Steven Soderbergh and based on a story outlined by Soderbergh and Rebecca Blunt. The screenplay was written by Scott Z. Burns. And Soderbergh specifically is known for films such as like the Ocean Saga, Ocean's 8, Ocean's 9, Ocean's 11, Erin Brockovich, which is a personal favourite of mine, and both Magic Mike films. So I feel that we would have really
Those
been
are Jack's favorite, by the way.
Yeah, Jack's faves. According to reports, the film had advanced pretty far. The script was completed. It had approval from Lucasfilm leadership. Kathleen Kennedy specifically approved this personally and was internally greenlit before being cancelled. This is the first time this has ever happened with a Star Wars Disney project, where it's got an internal green light, go ahead, and then the wider company said no. Why was it cancelled? I can hear you. Exactly, Anakin. Exactly. Why was it cancelled? I hear you scream. The reason cited by Adam Driver when the project was presented to the Walt Disney Company executives, specifically Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, they rejected it, claiming they didn't see how Ben Solo was alive. Now, some reporting does suggest internal politics and concerns about continuity in the galaxy-spanning saga, and also wanting to move away from those kind of sequel legacy characters. There is so much I could say about this, and next week or whenever we cover this, I will try and bring on the biggest Kylo fan in my life, Dealing in Absolutes, Sid, because truthfully, she needs a safe space to process this. It's all we've talked about for about the last 4 days straight. Every single time she sits down, it's, yeah, but the Ben Solo movie. Other fans are clearly just as desperate to make this happen, as the hashtags The Hunt for Ben Solo and THBS are going nuclear online. There was a flyby over Disney Studios with somebody with a plane and a banner that said The Hunt for for Ben Solo. And there was even a billboard in Times Square. So the hype is real, the hype is intense. Guys, how do you feel about this? Because I personally, as a Kylo Ren Ben Solo fan, I am devastated.
Missed opportunity, I think. They brought Palpatine back. Come on.
I am shocked by how much I wanted to, I mean, I never would have thought about a hunt for Ben Solo, but how disappointed I am that we're not getting it. Although I'm not ruling it out with all the, this feels like a media thing. Like Adam Driver throwing those two people under the bus specifically. I know we're going to talk about this next week. While hopefully some things will clear up why we decided not to do it this week, but and we have lots of stuff happening this week as well in Star Wars. But I'm really surprised for me personally, because Mike and I talked about this on Tuesday. Just like I don't care about. I mean, Ben Solo says one word and it's ugh when he falls, when he's jumping down in on that planet, right? He says one word and it's a sound. He doesn't even speak, right? We get some mannerisms where he makes him look like Solo. And I'm really devastated that we're not getting this. And I'm like, what is that emotion? Why? So I think it's crazy. And I also think the one positive thing I've seen about this is some people who just destroy Kathleen Kennedy all the time online are kind of coming back around thinking, well, maybe it's not necessarily always her. Because we complained, what, a million times about they announce things, they cancel it, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure why this made it out, but that's some stuff. Hopefully by next week it'll be clear and we'll be able to report a little bit more concisely on it. And I think it's one of the reasons we waited. My personal feeling is just I can't believe how much I want this, given the fact that I just don't care about Ben Solo. I mean, why would I? He was in the movie for like 5 seconds. Less than Darth Vader in the original.
Yep.
But anyways, all right. Who went to... Charlie, you're going to say this. How do you say this website again? Because I'm not going to mess it up.
Thank you to Kotaku for this summary.
Yes, the theatrical version of Star Wars: A New Hope, released as just Star Wars back in 1977, is seemingly being restored in 4K by Disney for future release. According to new leaks, this version of George Lucas' sci-fi blockbuster hasn't been officially released by Lucasfilm since 2006. And that has low quality transfer from Laserdisc. Oh man, you guys are too young for Laserdisc. Over the last few months, rumors and leaks have been circulating online about Disney working on a remastered and fully restored version of Star Wars. Recently video clips surfaced of this not yet officially announced 4K restoration of the theatrical version of Star Wars. Those clips were promptly deleted, but leaked screenshots are still floating around and show new, highly detailed scans of A New Hope and also an Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, implying that the entire OG is being restored. And the best part, the leaked information claims that those restorations are being done properly using original film negatives and with an effort to preserve grain and color grading, which that's pretty cool. This doesn't appear to be a quick 4K AI upscale like we've seen in the recent years. This is a big deal because the last time Lucasfilm officially released the original theatrical versions of the films without all of the Lucas Special Edition tweaks and changes was way back in 2006. We already know that Disney plans to bring back A New Hope in theaters in 2027, which I just saw also on IMAX. So I cannot wait to see a Star Wars. Like, again, I mean, I've seen like The Force Awakens and all them there, but to see Star Wars would be nuts. An announcement of those plans, Disney didn't specify which version would be shown, but it looks like it might actually be the long-awaited theatrical cut. Cinema trip, guys. We all get together. The original version of Star Wars: A New Hope. I mean, yeah, I'm almost 50, so I've seen it.
Yes, you've seen it. Some of our younger skewed viewers may have never had the pleasure of seeing what's now called like the despecialized version. This is crazy. I think since they discovered that version of it in the British Film Institute in the archives that had just been sitting around, and turns out it's in like exceptionally good quality, and they screened it at the BFI, and when all of that happened, I wonder if they found the ones for Empire and Return of the Jedi as well. And it would make sense that Disney have the resources, the money, and the backing to put a real effort into kind of a reclamation, a restoration of something that's so iconic. Because there are still people who've never seen a version of A New Hope without George's janky CGI, which, you know, as an artist, I get it. I get never being happy with the final product and wanting to go back and tweak and change. But it would be so, so cool to see the original versions on the big screen, and especially in IMAX. I've never seen a film in IMAX, by the way. I feel like I need to.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like an experience.
It is indeed. London Comic Con is happening this weekend, and we've had some really exciting drops from Hasbro figures. Come and get your figures. We've got a Jedi Master Dooku with hair. We've got Kyle Katarn, and we've got a Quinlan Voss as well, which I know a certain clan Brandalorian will be very happy about.
Those are pretty
However,
sick.
not to bring the mood down, I am aware that Black Series have raised their prices. Has everyone seen that?
What?
Tracking that?
We don't get political on this show, but you got to whenever people. I mean, I don't want to give a history lesson or an economics lesson on here, but the prices are going up on everything. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say. But these look pretty sick. I mean, that's old school Count Dooku, like from Tales of, right?
I love that Kyle Katarn as well.
Super happy to see Kyle Katarn back. I love me like a deep cut. That makes me so happy to see when they bring these characters back again. I'm obsessed with these like lightsaber blades in motion. I think it is such a cool detail. I feel like the accessories, especially like for Marvel Legends collectors as well, the upgrade in accessories over the last couple of years with Hasbro especially has been amazing to see. But it's such a subtle detail, but it looks so effective. Like this Quinlan Voss kind of pose here is amazing.
It's like he's deflecting a blaster bolt or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick though.
The love of the sword.
There's two heads there for Count Dooku. Right?
I think one's bearded and one's not, so you can
bearded
do both.
Non-bearded, yeah.
He creeps me out a little bit when he doesn't have the beard, like in the was it the first episode of Tales of.
You see him like, who is that guy?
Yeah, like it's kind of off-putting, you know. But you can see the transition more to Count Dooku from the movies, from that character. I think it's pretty cool. But I usually only collect Black Series that really speak to me. So, but I think these look great.
Yeah, I like these.
So, could be down for some of those. Pretty crazy. Kyle Katarn, he is from the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, or the okay, because I know I've seen that name all the time.
Universe.
I just I missed that whole section of Star Wars when I was kind of like wasn't into the reading, which is ironic because now I read like everything that is printed. I read, but in that time period when I was a kid, I didn't really read that stuff. So like a lot of this doesn't really, like, sometimes I don't know exactly the story behind it, but I see that name all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it's from the Knights of the Old Republic stuff. He's expanded universe. So
and
the story beyond this guy is he was a pilot at the academy and then turncoated essentially.
So like
nice.
Disney doesn't mind profiting from these stuff, but they just won't bring it out. So I mean, unless this is the way for them to gauge, like,
I think so.
Like gauge how important a character is or how much the fans like them. Like, I don't know, maybe accidentally dropping the fact that a Ben Solo movie was out there to see how the fan would react before they go forward with it. But
I think so.
So anyways, but yeah, those are pretty cool.
I'm hoping there will be a few more from today, but the news cycle hasn't quite updated because Con's sort of just about to finish for the day. So our next story, thank you to Star Wars Newsnet for this one. Listen, we are not even over Halloween yet, and I know that some of you are putting your Christmas decorations up. I know it. I can just feel it in my bones. So if you're in the mood for some festivities and ever wish... I know it should be illegal. I agree with you. If you're in the mood for some festivities and ever wish that you could celebrate Life Day with Chewbacca, you are in luck. Disney Parks has teased a meet and greet with the Wookiee, complete with his Life Day robe and orb, coming to the after-hours event Jollywood Nights this holiday season. In an Instagram reel posted by Walt Disney World, the text, "'Twas the night before Life Day," appears with festive music in the background. The video sweeps by the Millennium Falcon, specifically the life-size model that sits outside the Ride Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in Walt Disney World's Hollywood Studios. The video shows a picture of a Wookiee family and then Chewbacca gathering his Life Day supplies aboard the Falcon. So I'm expecting like a full experience. I love that despite the fact that George wants to destroy every single copy of the holiday special with a hammer, Even the Disney parks acknowledge it, acknowledge what it started, what it represents, the fact that it is important. And don't you worry, come Christmas time, we will be sitting around the fire and I will be telling you the tale of the holiday special, because it is by far my favorite piece of Star Wars media, like obscure Star Wars media. I'm obsessed with it.
I think the attitude has changed about a lot of things where, if something's
Yeah.
quirky and weird, you lean into it instead of trying to hide from it. George had his reputation. He's not George Lucas yet. You know what I mean? When he's sitting there trying like, oh my God, what have I done? Kind of like, he's not the George Lucas that we talk about today as far as,
No.
Being the maker, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, he's still probably, he's still trying to make Empire and all that stuff at the time. So I get it. It's pretty cool. And I will say that, like, none of us live anywhere near, which would be cool if we did. We follow Magic with Meg on Instagram. I guarantee you, if you guys follow her, she will be doing something with this, because she goes and does a lot of Star Wars stuff, all the parks. So you might be able to live vicariously through her, hopefully.
I have a ISB agent that's being deployed there, so we will get footage.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Sneaky.
Yep. Right, let's head over then to this week's main show.
It's just a simple jump to hyperspace and we're there. What's so tricky about that?
Plenty. Can't plot a direct course to Kessel. You might want to buckle up, baby.
Okay, so this week we are doing a Visions recap in anticipation of season 3 coming out on October 29th over on Disney Plus.
Yes, and so we're going to cover seasons 1, back where it all began. Star Wars Visions Volume 1 is the first season of Star Wars Visions. It aired September 22nd, 2021. Wow, for real? It's been that long? On Disney Plus. It consisted of 9 short anime films by various Japanese animation studios.
Season 1 was an absolute feast for anime fans, with all of the studios coming directly from Japan for this season. The animation styles spanned the entire spectrum of anime, from traditional 2D retro styles to hand-drawn, computer animated, and even into more minimalistic styles. There was something for everyone here. I'll talk a little bit about my faves and I'll ask you guys about all of that at the end, but I think I'd just like to kind of run through sort of each episode.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question first of all of us, so our listeners and our viewers know where we're coming from? How are our anime backgrounds? Like, how do we get into anime? Is it something that we seek outside of Star Wars? Because myself, and I'll start, me and the mailman, Mike's family, we've talked about this before, owned like a hometown Blockbuster, right? This was a big thing in the States. I don't know if it was there, but like, it was called VidSat Services, and they and you could go in there and you'd rent stuff. It was a big deal. Like, people, you have to remember this. This is a look in the old, back in my day, kids. But legitimately, things, they cost so much that we would rent a VCR from them or a beta player until they went that way. But and then you would rent movies, and we would just do it during whatever. But anyway, so he owns that. We tried to watch Akira one time, and I still am confused by that film, and I want to rewatch it before they make the live version of it. But that was probably when I was 15, maybe 16 years old, and I have not watched another anime until 2021, September 22nd, apparently. So I don't come back with a strong anime sense. I don't seek it out. So what about you guys? Like, is this something like, do you have a favorite anime that's not Star Wars? Obviously, because Visions was the first Star Wars, and is it something like it's in your wheelhouse, I guess?
Yeah, anime is absolutely ingrained into me. I absolutely love anime. First anime I think I saw was Dragon Ball Z. So those that don't know Star Wars probably know Dragon Ball Z.
That's an anime.
Yeah, that's anime. And then in terms of films, again, it's just seeing the odd one here and there, and then eventually you go chasing it, like Full Metal Alchemist. That was another big one as a kid. Obviously, your Pokemon's like classed as an anime as well. But really, I think even though anime started way back in like the 1960s, without going into like a history lesson like you say, Jimmy, Studio Ghibli are like renowned. Princess Mononoke is like the inspiration for Ahsoka, if people didn't already know that. So Star Wars and
Mhm.
anime and Star Wars in Japan. If you've not already known, like the tie-ins and links are absolutely huge. If you want to know more what I'm talking about, head over to our YouTube and check out our panel that we did in Japan. Plug. But yeah, anime is absolutely anime is absolutely ingrained. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Charlie.
I'm also in quite a similar position. Anime was a really big part of my childhood. When I was a kid, my grandparents had a skybox. For Brits who are listening will know, Americans maybe not so much, kind of like the equivalent of like getting cable. Suddenly we had access to a lot of American TV channels, and I watched a lot of Cartoon Network. And one of the things they showed on Cartoon Network was Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was absolutely obsessed with all three of them as like sort of 7, 8, 9 years old, and I would watch them kind of obsessively. And then when I was a teenager, I was introduced to things like Death Note, Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul, Elfen Lied, Black Butler, Hellsing, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I think is better than Full Metal Alchemist.
Gundam.
Excuse me. Yeah, Gundam. And it became something that I really sort of dipped into. And then when I shifted into being an adult, I stopped watching the anime series and picked up more into animated films and grew a real deep love for Studio Ghibli. But my favorite anime film probably has to be Paprika or Paprika, depending on how you want to pronounce it. If you've not seen it, I would highly, highly recommend seeking it out and watching it. It's a very surrealist, high concept, heavily animated, kind of hand drawn extravaganza. It's not for the kids. It's quite adult rated. Just to warn people, it's quite explicit and quite adult rated, but possibly one of the most fantastical things I've ever watched. So anime has been a part of my life for a long time, and I have a lot of love for it as a form of film and creative outlet. Vision season 1 was incredible for me. I remember at the time, a lot of the people I was around and the people I was podcasting with back then weren't the biggest fans of it. And I spent a lot of time kind of trying to fight its corner, being like, this is worth it. Like, give it a chance, give it a shot. This might be the best thing I've ever seen on telly. And it just absolutely blew me away. Jimmy, how did you find coming to Visions as not as big a kind of anime consumer and watcher, and maybe not as familiar with kind of tropes and aesthetics and these sorts of things?
I mean, it was all brand new to me. So I mean, like I said, I watched Akira. I was older. I wasn't in that generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, I know of it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like I see it, and I mean, I don't know necessarily what I didn't know Pokemon was considered anime. Like, I guess I don't know
Yeah.
like some of the rules for it, but I was blown away by it. Now, I will say that I haven't like sought out more. I thought this is enough for
Mhm.
me. Like, I love these stories. I love the difference. I love how when we get into season 2, I'll really express my love for things. But
Same.
season 1 was really cool. And I mean, of course, they grabbed me immediately with the duel. I've never seen anything like that before, and I was just like, "What in the blankety blank is this?" I'm in love.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of think that's one of the questions we could probably ask ourselves when we're going through this. What one of these would you want, like a full length film or like a, you know, or something like that? Because we are getting like 45 minutes of like was it the Ninth Jedi?
Ninth Jedi, yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
know they're giving us a sequel to that in season 3.
Yeah, it's like a special on top of a
And
special.
then we're getting another like 45 minutes or something like that in like January, February. But yeah, so
Mhm.
not having any experience in it, I wasn't sure really what to think of. I was blown away by the differences in artwork and the music. And, you know, I tried watching it both in Japanese with subtitles, and I watched it this back when I had time
Yeah.
to do things like that. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I loved it. I've used it before to connect with kids that I can't always reach. I'm like, "Oh, have you seen Visions? You know, this really cool anime." And they're like, "Oh, you like anime?" I'm like, "Well, I like Visions." So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
That's
pretty
the
cool.
start. It counts.
Yeah.
But no, I think the duel is obviously a brilliant place to start. It was an absolutely phenomenal choice to make this kind of the first episode. it touched on all of the things about Star Wars that we all adore. Obviously, like I will dive a bit deeper into this, but it was, to remind everybody, this was by the studio Kamikaze Douga. It was about a mysterious wandering Ronin protects a village from a Sith bandit. The Ronin reveals his red lightsaber, hinting he may be a former Sith hunting his own kind. In this stylized kind of black and white 3D animation with these hand painted 2D textures and heavily inspired by Akira Kurosawa's samurai films, which is why I'm so grateful there was the option to watch it kind of dubbed versus subbed is a conversation you'll hear between anime fans a lot. What's the best way to watch it if you're not a native kind of Japanese speaker or reader? And I think it was so important to watch the duel in Japanese and read the subtitles. I think you gained so much more kind of context and understanding, and it added another level to that experience. It was an absolutely phenomenal episode to me, like 10 out of 10, no flaws, no faults. I want to see that as like an hour and a half movie. I would sit and watch the entire thing.
Yeah, when he pulls out that red saber, like I was like, you know, so you just like mine is blown. That red popping up, it's kind of like those red, white, and black comics that they released.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was I think if you're trying to get people my age who aren't into anime, and there's tons of people my age that are into it, but like, you know, like if you get this older generation that doesn't really know it, and you give us the duel is probably the most Star Warsy. I mean, they're all Star Warsy, but this is like the absolute most Star Warsy. I mean, you've got these just Japanese variations of things. You got the droids wearing those hats, and you know, just everything that you recognize from Star Wars is in this. And you kind of think, well, if George Lucas and Akira Kurosawa could have teamed up to make a film, this is what we would have gotten, kind of deal. And yeah, absolutely blew my mind. There are times over the past, you know, 4 years, I will go back and rewatch that specific episode just if I'm bored and I have something on the background. I can't say that about all of them, but this one is, I mean, and then I thought it was kind of weird they started out with this one because I felt personally that it kind of it slowly kind of starts to go downhill for me a little bit. Like when you set out, I mean, you hit me with that, and I expect everything to be like this.
Yeah, it does set like a standard.
And that's something I feel like they've done with season 1 and season 2 for me, but we'll get into that. Hopefully season 3 doesn't do that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What you got to realize as well with these anime shorts, obviously they're all different studios as well, but they've all got different tones, different themes, different art styles, and you could probably arguably, you could express a lot more through anime, I think, than you can through live action to a degree.
Well, animation in itself, I think you can, but yeah, that's a good point.
I think this season specifically, especially when we go through kind of the rest of the episodes, this season really was about kind of expressing the spectrum of anime. A lot of people, when you say anime to them, they think about like Pokemon, that flat 2D kind of barely shaded, just sort of pieces moving on a screen. It can be so much more than that, and obviously like season 2 they kind of ramped that up even more. But even some of the episodes that I wasn't super set on, like Tatooine Rhapsody by Studio Colorado, so cute, so fun and sweet. I love that some of these episodes were definitely aimed more at kids, so it felt like a kind of family watching experience. Like you could pick out a few of these to sit down with your kids and watch. It's a ragtag rock band performs to save a bandmate from Jabba the Hutt. Really simple plot line. It blends music, friendship, Star Wars charm, and it's this really soft, really colourful 2D animation with this chibi art style, which means cute, energetic, and really lighthearted. By far, like if I was forced to rank the episodes, Tatooine Rhapsody is probably lower down the bottom for me. But it doesn't mean that I didn't find it kind of endearing and charming, and it just so precious. Like anime can be such a mix of things. It can be drama, it can be like I've cried my eyes out to episodes of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
But exactly, I can't explain. It's far too devastating. And yet can also feel like Studio Ghibli, My Neighbor Totoro, is this cute, adorable, like every single moment of it is, oh my goodness, how precious. it can be all of these things, and then to layer Star Wars on top of that, like something so kind of magical came out of this. Did you guys enjoy Tatooine Rhapsody? Do you remember it? Does it stick out?
Yeah, I love them all. I love the little, I say cameo, but it's one of the main people in it, Boba Fett in it as well.
Yeah.
Again, seeing Jabba, stuff like that. Again, another cheeky plug is the panel. What we did, we talked about the influence Japan had on Star Wars. All the animations is literally quite the polar opposite now. It's where they've got their inspiration from Star Wars. So it's gone full circle. I absolutely loved it. I loved them all.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. For me, I was like, you go from the duel to this. I was like, what is happening? Like, what? Like, this is
Calm down.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it was just, I mean, you couldn't have picked like two polar opposite like animation style stories. And that's kind of what piqued my interest, because I do like the differences. And that's one thing like I love about season 2. Like love about season 2. But yeah, this one was fun. I thought it was fine. Like there wasn't like, oh, I don't, when is this going to be over? Like it had my attention. It was really unique in the Star Wars world. So that's what's kind of fun, is like they don't have to adhere to canon.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
they can do whatever they want. And I thought this was pretty fun. It's clever. And it just kind of shows like different things happening. And, we always talk about what would you be in the Star Wars universe? Bounty hunter, Jedi, rock and roller. You know what I mean? Like whoever says that. But, so there you go. I think after Tatooine Rhapsody, maybe people want to be a rock star in the universe, I guess.
Who knows? The next one, the twins. So it's Dark Sideboard twins. And this for me was sort of a what if Luke and Leia did go to the dark side for me. I think a lot of fans resonated with this one. I think they were very clever in how they did this, having a conjoined Star Destroyer and stuff like that. I thought it was absolutely epic. And it goes to what you were saying there, Jimmy. You've just come off the road and you're on a high. You've now just watched the Tatooine Rhapsody. You're on a bit of a come down, so to speak. And then it picks straight back up with the twins. What did we think about episode 3?
It was fine. It's not one of my favorites, so I'll just say it was fine.
I was obsessed with the hyper stylized, the bold lines, really exaggerated motion, and this really kind of punchy neon color palette meant that I was glued the entire time. The thing I particularly love about the twins is I remember this episode being quite controversial at the time. It really pushes the boundaries of what Star Wars is, the lore and the science of Star Wars and what we understand it to be, like conjoined Star Destroyers, crazy lightsabers, and doing backflips in space and breathing in space without helmets. Like I remember that being a real point of contention for people. There were arguments on Twitter and Instagram about that shouldn't be able to happen. It's anime, you can do what you want.
Who cares? Yeah, it's so dumb to argue about it.
So dumb, but it was brilliant. I love the twins. I think it's so fun. And I don't know why I never clocked on to the whole kind of Luke and Leia comparison, Jack. I really like that. Gonna go watch it again in a bit.
Yeah, very cool. All right. The Village Bride by Kinema Citrus. Is that how we say that? Okay, that's a fun, unique name. A wandering Jedi helps a peaceful village threatened by raiders, rediscovering her Jedi purpose. Painterly 2D anime with serene natural backgrounds and cinematic pacing reminiscent of Studio Ghibli. I thought this was pretty cool. This is that one where the guy was like carrying his bride, right? Is that one?
Yeah.
This one was unique. This was different. And I liked, this is what I was talking about with like, do you want a movie or something? Like I want to know more when they were done, if I wanted to know more about these characters or more about their culture, that's when I was like, oh wow, like this is cool. Like I thought this one was pretty neat just because it was such a different take, and all these people getting mad about Acolyte and things like that, and about the Force religions and things. Like you need to check this stuff out, because like this shows you, like, I mean, I know it's not canon, but you have to remember like every planet is probably doing things a little bit differently than everybody else is. So this one was fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's quite fun as well. And it's sort of, again, I spoke about tones and stuff like that within this one. I think reflects on like, your harmony, compassion, duty. Because again, it's a Jedi. They go into their old sort of self. But yeah, I agree. It was a fun one.
I love when Star Wars indulges in the culture of itself, if that makes sense. Like particularly Andor and the scenes with Mon Mothma, anything to do with Chandrilla, I was like, yes, 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 I love it, I love it. And the village, like Jimmy said, like I want to see more. I want to know more about why it's that way and why these things happen this way. And it's this. Each of these episodes feels so vastly different from one another, and the sheer amount of talent on display is crazy to me. The next one on our list was The Ninth Jedi by Production IG. Sabersmith's daughter, a Sabersmith's daughter delivers lightsabers to Force users, uncovering a trap set by Sith imposters. Super, super high quality 2D animation here, blended with lots of CG lighting, which is beautiful. Smooth cinematic action sections. This one felt so much more like a film to me. It was I know The Ninth Jedi was really, really popular with a lot of people, and obviously so popular that we're getting this kind of 45-minute expansion on it next year, which I'm so hyped for.
Epic, absolutely epic storyline, especially again the Jedi's lost. There's sort of on a rebuild. I think her name's Cara off the top of my head. She gets the task of obviously running around like you mentioned there, but then she works out that connection to the Force. Definitely deserves a spin-off. Absolutely amazing story. Again, like you mentioned, the visuals are incredible. I'm so down for this one. This is one of my like top ones of all the anime I've seen.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I rewatched this one specifically because I knew we were getting the sequel to it or whatever when Vision Season 3 comes out on Wednesday. And then, of course, like we said, we've talked about, we're getting like the 45-minute push on it. So it's, hopefully it's just going to continue that story. Yeah, I remember being shocked again whenever all those, they were all Sith and stuff like that. I like that concept of having Sith out there and Jedi out there and just, and I felt like it was kind of playing on like canon and legend stuff a little bit, and it was just kind of bringing everything together. I really liked it. The only issue I had with the idea behind it was that like the Jedi weren't building their own sabers, as far as that's concerned, but they were all beautiful and things like that. So I enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing the continuation of it in these next two, the two ways we're getting it. So I'm pretty excited for that one.
The next one's a controversial one. T0B1, the droid that wants to become a Jedi. How many times have we wanted droids to become Jedi or Sith? Now, obviously, we've got Grievous. It's the closest thing we've got, but he's obviously a cyborg. Big difference. But yeah, controversial. Did it work? For me personally, I thought it did. I like the whole theme around it. Charlie, what was your thoughts on this one?
Absolutely obsessed with this one. Cheerful little droid dreams of becoming a Jedi and learns that even a droid can embody the Force. Super, super retro animation style here. Really, really reminiscent of like Pokemon, but specifically this episode is linked to the classic like anime Astro Boy. If you've not seen it, it's an absolute classic. It's so sweet and so, so lovely. A little robot wants to become a real boy, very Pinocchio. I loved T0B1, so cute, so sweet. If we've got double-decker Star Destroyers and we've got people flying about in space without helmets, why can't we have a droid that's Force sensitive? And also, I would like to remind people in the extended universe, Skippy R4 is a Jedi, is Force sensitive. So there are Force sensitive droids.
Interesting.
This one was fine. Again, I didn't dislike any of them, I don't think, from this season.
Yeah.
And again, I would think, and I'm sitting there trying to think back, sitting through this, and I watched almost all of these in one sitting. In the season 2, I broke up a little bit, but just jumping all over the place with the animation side, it's incredible to me. This one was fun. Again, it's not canon. You don't have to like be upset about the story if you didn't like it. It's just like a fun romp in a different Star Wars world. I thought this was kind of cool. And it also kind of, it almost kind of got us like more of the a Jedi can be anybody kind of thing. Like the themes that we have now in Star Wars with like Sabine and some other characters like that. Like this is kind of like the start of that, whereas like this is the first time we've seen someone who shouldn't be a Jedi become a Jedi.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I like that one. The Elder from Trigger. I think they're back in the next season.
Yeah.
in season 3. Jedi Master and Padawan face an ancient Sith exploring wisdom and the nature of power. Grounded 2D anime with subdued colors and mood-driven lighting, tense and minimalist. I love this one. There's
This is a
definitely a
banger.
theme. Definitely the theme for the ones that I like, because there's like the storyline kind of goes very Star Wars heavy, and like the action is
Yeah.
Star Wars, and then this kind of animation is pretty similar. I mean, it's different, but it's similar to the Duel. But yeah, this one really stood out to me when I watched it. I love that connection between the Master and Padawan or apprentice, and then of course the Sith Lord was kind of creepy and scary, and
Oh yeah,
and now too, watching this season over again and getting ready for season 3 and having done all that research for our Japan stuff, and I was watching all those Kurosawa films, like you could see these characters coming to life in this, and
yeah.
I loved it. So this was a really good one. This one definitely stood out to me, as one that grabbed my attention personally.
Yeah, the fight scene in this is an absolute banger. You look at a
Yeah.
classic Sith. We dropped a reel on our socials, cheeky plug. Go check that out. Of this one as well. Yeah, this is up there as well for me.
Anytime there's an opportunity to kind of delve into that kind of master Padawan relationship, I'm absolutely all for it. And this episode was just such a beautiful little kind of snapshot into that. Visually gorgeous, really, really interesting fight scenes and fight choreography. That, like we said earlier, like animation is the platform to go absolutely like gung ho, mad, crazy, do all of these wild, obscure things that you could never get like a real person to do or like a human body to do. Amazing.
See, that's what I think sometimes bringing animated characters into live action, people are disappointed because Ahsoka's not doing all that crazy, insane stuff she does because she was animated. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah,
Mhm.
really good point.
Why is she not doing 4 somersaults one after the other?
Everyone shush, because this next one is definitely one of my favorites. Lop and Ocken by Juno Studio. Adopted sisters are torn apart when one sides with the Empire, turning family into foes. Really hyper detailed 2D anime with like a load of like digital painting in the backgrounds, lots of cinematic realism. Cried my eyes out over this one. Just sad bunnies. Sad bunnies in Star
Oh,
Wars.
yeah,
Like
this
it
is
was
the bunny.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, this was a good one.
It is a good one. But again, it's one of those Star Wars what ifs and the reasons that they went their separate directions. Obviously, one of them joins the Empire thinking it's going to modernize their world and help their world out. So good intentions, obviously. But like you said, yeah, it ends up with a family torn apart.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Star Wars is special.
Well, it's funny because like in that Phasma book, like the Empire, like it's Hux, his dad is in this, right? And he's like saying all these great things about the Empire, and these people are buying it. I think he believed it himself, and his version is amazing sounding for the First Order. But what you get, you know what I mean? So like this is kind of in that realm of, like they're saying these things is what I think this means, but this is what it's turning out to be. So I thought that was a pretty cool episode.
This last one was an absolute cliffhanger, I think. What an episode to end on. Akari, I think it's pronounced.
Akakiri.
It's just a bit of a Romeo Juliet sort of thing, but yeah, what a cliff drop, I think, for our last episode of the season. What was your thoughts on this one, Charlie?
I feel like these last 2 episodes were just deeply sad for no good reason. But this is, again, like I said, this is like the dichotomy. This is the beauty of anime. It is a vessel for these deeply emotional, intense stories. And it's always kind of meant to be this short form thing of like I think episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid were like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, and that's about the average length of a Visions episode. It's how much can you pack into this tiny amount of time to have an emotional impact. And because you're removed of the difficulty of working with real people on real sets and editing that way and film and all of this sort of stuff, you've got all of the space in the world to get really intense and emotional with it. And I think this was a bit of a cracker to end the season on, to be fair. Like such a kind of peak and trough, up and down. Super interesting.
It says something about these writers and the stylists that they can get more information out in the 15, because I don't even think some of these were 15 minutes long this first season. I remember being like, wow, these are so short. How much they can pack in that short amount of time makes you wonder why we can't get better movies in any genre. If you can pack that much information and get us to care about those characters in 15 minutes, how come in over 2.5 hours you can't make us care about these? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of crazy to me how much they can stuff into these. So pretty awesome.
I have the answer for that, but I'll tell you off air. Right. Next is season 2, released 2023 on May the 4th. What a day. And then, straight into a banger, Sith by El Gururi from Espanol, so Spain. Again, absolute banger. Different themes, tones all the way throughout. Lots of different aspects to look at. Jimmy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, this is, in my mind, as a history teacher and the person who likes to like appreciate the differences in our world and see how similar and different we are. This season is going to be hard, if not impossible, to top for me, because all these beautiful different stories, all these different tales that they're able to, like, it was easy for them, like, oh, we have this famous tale from Ireland, we'll just take it and we'll turn it into Star Wars. Oh, we have this famous person from World War whatever, French hero, we're going to turn that into Star Wars. Like, I want this. Because I remember when they said season 3 was going to be all Japanese again, I was a little disappointed, not because I didn't enjoy the first season, but because I knew we probably weren't going to get this version again. So the Sith, again, for me, this first episode was exactly the same thing. Was like, holy rip, like, it just pulled me in. I think about Shadows of the Sith and the one character, I just feel like it's almost like it's her. This was incredible episode. And it's just another way. I mean, they just come out swinging. I didn't feel like the fall off was as much for me personally. I don't know if it was because I was kind of ready for it, or that it was just so different, and you could just sit there and you could appreciate every country's culture, and each one you could just see it. I loved it. So yeah, this first one, Sith, was phenomenal. And again, it's one of the ones that I'll go back and rewatch every once in a while just to see it.
So, like, season 2 was something completely different. Instead of animation studios specifically from Japan, we ended up with this mixed bag of studios from across the globe. Each episode captured something really unique about its country of origin, and animators often leaned into traditional techniques to inspire their work. There was something hugely special about this season for me. Maybe it was the variation in studio location, or just the freedom of ideas that were being expressed. It was joyous from start to finish. I've talked earlier about how Visions represents that super unique space within Star Wars, kind of outside of the canon, outside of the established narratives and rules. And whilst Lego Star Wars fits in that category, Visions to me is something else entirely.
Oh, yeah.
This first episode was absolutely breathtaking. I didn't know that you could see the strokes of a paintbrush represented so beautifully in an animated short. I was captivated from start to finish. It felt so Spanish, so beautiful, so elegant. This really kind of stylized 3D animation with painterly texturing, super dynamic lighting using kind of the balance of the light and the dark. Just again, the same with the duel. What an episode to kick this season off with! Like, incredible, absolutely incredible.
I'm here for it.
Oh yeah. Next up is one from not too far away from Charlie Island, Screech's Reach. We'll start with you, Charlie, on this one. What was your thoughts on this?
Oh my goodness. This is by the studio Cartoon Saloon. It's a young orphan defeats a ghostly spirit only to discover her savior is a Sith Lord recruiting her. 2D hand-drawn animation, so back to that kind of flat animation style that we see with like Pokemon, but with Celtic-inspired designs, really textured, really rich and full, and this really kind of storybook, page-turning kind of aesthetic that was super, super unique. I loved that it was all kind of Irish native voice actors. That made me super happy. I'm not Irish and I don't have family from Ireland, but there was something about it kind of as a United Kingdom dweller that felt it felt so beautiful and so connected and just really, really special. I don't know, this season just leveled up for me in a whole new way. Like, absolutely no disrespect to the Japan studios. Season 1 was phenomenal. Somehow this got more phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I like the story on this one. It's really cool. The fact that, a lot of these things kind of tricked you. Those are kind of a theme of like you didn't know exactly what was going to
Yeah.
happen. Some of them were straight up, but like this one, you're like, oh, like, good job, and then you're like, oh no, at the end. But just
no.
so, I like this one. I like, again, I can't like just the different cultures coming into Star Wars is how they view it. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the telltale theme on season 2. All the different cultures really did stand out in all the episodes. So we've gone from Ireland all the way to Chile for the next one. Episode 3, In the Stars by Punk Robot. Again, talks about 2 sisters, pretty much the last of their people, and the hiding from Imperial occupation. Again, Force users. A lot of the themes here are family, resistance. Quite a punchy episode, I thought, to be honest. Again, anything with family really does pull on the heartstrings a little bit. But yeah, another great episode. I thought one of the stronger ones for season 2 for me. What about you, Jim? We'll start with you this time.
Yeah, I thought this was one of the stronger ones. Tackling pollution in our world. I thought they, a lot of these did kind of cleverly hide some, bigger issues, throughout, the real world. But I thought this one did a great job. It was emotional, very Star Warsy, background for it to be set in, because like Screech Reach didn't really feel like that Star Warsy, except for it was a Sith Lord, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like that. But so Into the Stars really was cool, and it just I liked it. I liked the story, I liked the characters, I liked the action in it, so it was good.
Charlie, what's your thoughts?
Excuse me. I really super enjoyed this episode. I feel like this is one of those seasons where I don't feel like I can rank any of them, because the entire time I was watching it, I was just sort of like sandblasted to the back of my chair with how unbelievably incredible some of these, like all of these episodes were. It was nice to see stop motion. Obviously, I'll dig a little bit more into this with the next episode we talk about, but the stop motion was kind of enhanced and given such a big platform because of Star Wars. Phil Tippett specifically, shout out to Phil, love you, Phil. One of the most incredible stop motion animators of our time, of the entire world ever, and it was so nice to see that aspect of Star Wars represented in this format. It felt like such a beautiful homage, which leads me so nicely onto my favorite Visions episode of all time ever, I Am Your Mother by the British icon and powerhouse Aardman Animations. I was the kid that grew up on Wallace and Gromit, Morph, Shaun the Sheep, and I will loudly and proudly tell anyone who will listen to me that Chicken Run is my favorite movie. Seeing the colliding of these two worlds and my love of Star Wars was emotional and exhilarating all at the same time. Not only did we get to see traditional claymation from Aardman at its finest, we also got a guest voice appearance from Dennis Lawson, who hasn't done anything Star Wars since The Rise of Skywalker, and that was nearly a decade ago. Beautiful story, beautiful message, and visually nostalgic from start to finish. And also, Aardman has exceptionally good comedic timing. That's something they're really known for as an animation studio. Just said so. I think I remember when this was announced for season 2, I was in pieces. I was crying, I was shaking. It was a whole thing.
I think when we recap this season, I think this was my favorite one as well.
You and Taylor both picked this one.
Yeah, I really like this one.
This was the very first episode of Explore the Force was reviewing season 2 of Visions.
Visions, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cheeky plug, make sure you check that out. Yeah. But yeah, this was up there with my favorites. I think all the claymation stuff, the comedic value from it as well.
Beautiful.
The whole storyline, it was light-hearted. It's a laugh. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it was just kind of a fun romp, right? And again, it's the animation. Over here in the States, we do love your Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep and Chicken Run, like all those, like love those. And we had our California Raisins over here, so it was kind of pretty fun. Like, this is a fun, silly, heartwarming episode, and I mean, I liked it. There's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't put up there with my favorites by any means, because I really like those action-packed ones, Into the Stars and Sith. Those ones really called me a little bit more. But this was really gave me a chance to breathe, laugh a little bit, before things got serious again and weird on the next one. So I think
yes.
Journey to the Darkhead, Studio Mir from South Korea. Mechanic and a Jedi destroy a Sith monument, testing faith and control in a dazzling anime-style duel. Dynamic 2D anime-inspired animation, high energy action, similar to The Legend of Korra. And I have to admit, I was like, kind of like, huh? A little bit, but the action was good. This one, I don't know. I thought this one was a little bit out there for me, if I'm remembering.
Yes.
Correctly.
Yeah, same. What about your thoughts, Charlie?
See, I found this one so interesting just because it was so different to what we'd been given before. Like, obviously, there is an element of surrealism, and I talked about Paprika earlier, which is like a beautiful example of surrealism and high concept within anime. It is absolutely the platform to, and I say this with all of my chest, get weird with it. I love watching something and going, what? Hang on a sec. Give me a minute. This Journey to the Darkhead specifically was, I think, the real start of this season pushing even more so than it already does the boundaries of what you would consider animation, what you would consider entertainment, what you would it did that in such a unique and interesting way. And also, I'm a huge Legend of Korra fan. I know I have lots of friends who are also fans of that anime as well. So, heck, enjoy. Just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant.
Speaking of brilliant, the next one, The Spy Dancer by Studio La Cachette from France. Occupied World, Rebel Dancer. My French is all amazing. Canadian now, aren't I? Rebel Dancer Lo hides a tracking tech in a show for the Empire. Long story short, spots an officer, and it turns out to be her son. What a twist.
Oh, what a twist.
This was a big twisty roller coaster ride, I think, this one all season. 6 definitely stood out. What's your thoughts on this one, Jimmy?
I love this one. I love the fact that, I think, Jack, you pointed out to us that, this was based off of a World War II spy during the war. This French dancer, and I can't off the top of my head. I remember doing research on her afterwards. Blown away by it. This was crazy. Like, this was very different, but I thought this was awesome. This was a really cool one. And then, of course, the twist, you're like, what? Like, it was pretty crazy. So just the fact, again, it gave all these countries time to, that spy dancer has got to be important to that culture for them to take her and make her the idea for this episode. And I love it. I thought that was really cool.
Charlie?
Super, super beautiful. I agree with both of you. I love that it was based in historical fact. I was obsessed with the kind of Art Deco stylization of the whole thing. It's one of my favorite eras of design and aesthetic. And it was just, again, just such a beautiful kind of mashing together of all of these ideas and styles and themes. And it's just absolutely breathtaking. I feel like a broken record now. This is me in the corner just going on about the same points all the time. But what else can I say, really? Just absolutely beautiful, really, really good story as well. Loved the twist.
Josephine Baker.
Fab. Nice. Yes.
That was a lady. Next one, Bandits of Golok. Now, this one's from 88 Pictures India. I'm sure this is the one where all the colours kept just jumping out of the screen. I remember this one.
Yes.
This was a beautiful, beautiful episode visually and story-wise as well. What's your thoughts on this one, Jimmy?
Oh, this is probably up there with one of my top 2. I love this Indian culture tied into Star Wars. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. It was just crazy because everything else was, you could see it fitting in the Star Wars, and then this just had that flair, boom, this is India. You know what I mean? This is our culture. This is how it goes. But then it was so close to the stories we've seen before. Brother trying to take care of his sister. And then just the animation style. I love this. And then, of course, the story with the older woman because a lot of these times you're waiting for the twist, by this point, and then you got another good twist on this one. I loved this episode. So this was really cool. Beautiful, beautiful episode. Great story. And again, this is one of the reasons why I was like a little disappointed, because I just felt like we're going to miss out on opportunities like this for people and Star Wars people to see what the rest of the world has to offer in Star Wars.
This episode was big, beautiful, bold, bright, just absolutely sumptuous from start to finish. I think when the stories are kept simple and the stories are kept kind of familiar, sort of globally to these kind of simple aspects, it gives so much space for the animation studio to kind of really go in on the cultural and design aspects. And it was so beautiful seeing that kind of Bollywood inspired action, and just all of it was delicious, absolutely delicious. The next episode was probably another one of my favorites, The Pit by D-Art Taggio, Japan, and Lucasfilm combined together to do this one. Enslaved workers are trapped in a pit. They rise up against imperial oppression in a story of sacrifice and hope. Kind of like a hybrid 2D, 3D animation style, lots of cinematic realism, and really leaning into kind of urban dystopia, which is an area I don't think we've seen too explored in Star Wars.
No.
This really tugged at my heartstrings. This one definitely had me kind of on the edge of my seat, sort of really kind of rooting for the main characters. And like I said earlier, anime is a brilliant vessel for those really emotional stories. And obviously, we can all understand the horrors of a potentially dystopian world given the current climate. And I think this episode specifically was very much like a whoa, okay, this is serious business now. How did you guys, Jack? How did you feel about this one?
Yeah, exactly the same. Like you mentioned, I think the bit that hit the most is when they got out and the guy got ignored, and then eventually died.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." But then there's that uplift where they all come together. So, yeah, for me, another absolute banger of an episode. And like you said, the animation's got that ability to highlight these issues and these themes that are happening in the real world as well, and literally relates to everybody. There's no way any of these episodes don't relate to anybody. For me, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just a little too real world. Just government doesn't care about you, kind of thing, and just like, and then no one will listen. Like, it was so maddening when no one listens, and just the idea of being trapped down in there. You could just see like governments around the world just treating their people this way. And a good story, a little close to home. Really cool animation style. And I like this one. It was right up there. Again, all of it just the different styles, and just kind of kept that rhythm going of different for me. And then what was going on here? All right. Triggerfish. What was it? Au Song?
Yeah.
Au Song,
Au Song by Triggerfish, South Africa. A girl with a musical connection to the forest heals Kyber crystals through her song, bringing peace to her world. Stop motion inspired 3D animation with soft pastels, fabric like textures, childlike handcrafted aesthetics. My personal this one was really great. I thought this was beautiful. The texture, like it says there, the textures and just the story in itself, and the idea behind it, I thought was pretty cool. She's like kind of healing, through her, and I thought that was a lot of fun.
It was a good episode to finish the season on, I think.
Yeah.
All the music stuff and the harmony stuff. A bit of an uplift from the previous episode.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this was the perfect episode to end on, and a very, very good episode. Charlie?
I have to agree. It was that kind of soothing sort of balm for the horrors of the previous episode. Probably another one of my personal favorites from this season. The beautiful message in this story connected so deeply with me, and it was wonderful to see the Force interpreted in such a meaningful way. I think I love when Star Wars goes, hey, so the Force, you can like push pull things. You can also like remember things that have happened, impressions of memories, and it expands and expands and expands. And now all of a sudden in this universe, the Force is connected to music, and you can use music to influence the Force, and just visually stunning set of like just all of it, visually breathtaking. And I loved in this episode specifically, the narrative almost takes kind of a backseat to the animation. I think
Yeah.
there are a few other episodes in this season that lean into that, where it's less of the story, less of the characters, more about what you're looking at and storytelling through show not tell.
Yeah.
And how can you not love that? Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this is
Awesome.
kind of like gateway
Go on, Jimmy.
into like the High Republic stuff, how every Jedi
Yeah.
saw or
Yes.
heard or
About to say
listened,
that.
music and the ocean and threads. And yeah, so Jack, you can continue with it, but just it's like a gateway for that whole concept of the High Republic.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, awesome. You've just led me into my next thought, which was literally what Jimmy just said, pretty much word for word. But yeah, I'll just finish on off. Like I said, it is a fantastic episode to finish on for a fantastic series. That's obviously seasons 1 and 2. I'm not going to ask which is your favorite because we're going to save that for next week or the week after, whenever it may be. Obviously, check out season 3, dropping October 29th. I'm very, very excited for that. And let us know in the comments as well, viewers, listeners, wherever you are in the galaxy. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what your favorite episode was, your season was, and any episodes that you're looking forward to as well for Visions season 3. And if you have any questions or just want your voice heard, then DM us on our socials or send us an email or voice note at exploretheforce@gmail.com. And remember to like this episode, share it with your Star Wars friends and family, to follow us on all our social media platforms. All you have to do is search Explore the Force, all one word. And if you watch on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Also, if you want to show your support and spread the word around by image as well as voice, then head on over to Redbubble and search Explore the Force, where you can purchase unique merchandise. And a massive, massive thank you to everyone who's been interacting with us via our social media. You keep this podcast amazing.
Yes, and finally, you've been listening or viewing Explore the Force. We have spoken. We'll see y'all next week.